And so many of you listen to me, you've been in a holding pattern. And if I can say this, a holding pattern is like, as an example, when you're flying into when a plane is flying into the airport, when the controller, the air traffic controller, will let them know that they must hold because of a lot of traffic in the air, a lot of other planes in the air. And so the plane that the traffic controller will let know or instruct to go into a holding pattern, they will have to just circle around the airport, circle around the airport, circle around the airport, until they get some type of clearance. Good morning, Yvette Evans. Good morning, Venice Singleton. And that plane will circle around the airport. It will circle around the airport until that plane will get some type of clearance. And so, but until that plane gets that in clearance, that plane is in a holding pattern. And so that means that plane is going to keep circling. And this is where I see many of you in the spirit. There's an issue, there's a situation, there's something, there's a matter of the heart that you've been facing, that you've been dealing with. You've been circling it. You hadn't been able to deal with it. You hadn't found an answer for it. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, JT6. You've been circling around this situation. You've been circling around this problem. You hadn't found the answer, but you keep talking. You keep circling. You keep searching. You keep circling. You keep circling. And what I want to say to you, good morning, Carolyn. What I want to say to you is that God says that it's been released. And so, in other words, when that plane is going around, but then there comes a time when the controller will flash its lights a certain kind of way. And when that controller flashes its lights a certain kind of way, that is the sign. Good morning, Jeffrey. Good morning, Butterfly Wings, Bryson Foster. Good morning, Jackie. That means that it is time for the plane to land. And many of you, what I see in the spirit, when it comes to the will of God, when it comes to the mind of God, when it comes to acknowledging God, when it comes to being led by God, I heard God say, it has been released, but it's time to land. It is time to come in. It is time to respond. It's time to react. It is time to open your mouth up. It is time to cry out. It is time to pray. It is time to move. It is time to prophesy. It is time to fast. It is time to seek His face. It is time to change. See, some of you, there's a prayer in your house, and you've been praying silently. God, you want certain things in your house to change. There are certain things that you want to change. And what God is saying to you concerning that is, if you want your house, or if you want people around you to change, then you must first change. See, because when you change, you're going to change your atmosphere around you. You're going to change your energy. That's so important. When you change your energy, what is going to happen? You're going to birth out energy that comes from your energy. So in other words, if you're friendly to people, then what's going to happen? Friendliness is going to come back to you, a greater friendliness. And so you want things to change in your life. You've been wanting situations to change, but the situation don't have to change. God wants you to change. God wants you to change.